So, hello friends and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. You see, in this episode I will give you the buyer's guide for the FELT BREED Advanced Carbon Gravel Bike, and I will tell you, should you just go ahead and buy this bike or should you just consider it? You see, recently I got a question from one of the viewers about this FELT BREED gravel bike, and I have to admit that initially I wasn't even aware of this FELT BREED gravel bike, but then I went and dig a little bit deeper, and I have to say it's a very interesting offering from FELT bicycles. So this FELT BREED Advanced with the Shimano GRX 600 group set has a retail price of $3,000 US, which is, a very interesting price point. There's a bunch of other gravel bikes which sit in this price point, so definitely there's nothing special, that FELT is doing on this front. Also, you have probably heard about the FELT as a brand, a huge history with this US-based brand, and they have done some specifically good road bikes and kind of aero triathlon bikes, so definitely moving into the gravel bikes is a very interesting thing that FELT is doing now. Okay, the first thing first, who is this bike for? You see, this is a typical example of a racing gravel bike. So, if you spend majority of your time on the road, but from time to time you like to go a bit of off-roading, nothing too demanding, nothing, where you would have to use the mountain bike, then definitely these gravel bikes are a very interesting offering. And also, as I said, this is primarily designed for kind of gravel bike racing, so it is a bit, aerodynamically optimized carbon fiber frame and the fork, as you can see, and some other smaller components. So just, keep that in mind when you are thinking about, is this the right bike for me? Also, which is good here, as I see, FELT is offering two paint schemes. One is this very classical, as they call it, lava smoke paint scheme, kind of a bit sand brown paint scheme with a hint of pink. Decent paint scheme. But then they have this beautiful, in my opinion, limelight paint scheme, which is a stunning kind of yellow-green paint scheme with a hint of orange. It's absolutely stunning paint scheme, and definitely, if I'm in the market for this specific bike, I would choose this limelight paint scheme. Okay, now we can see what do you really get for your hard-earned $3,000 US. So first thing first, let's talk about this frame and the fork. So this is a carbon fiber frame from FELT and also their advanced carbon fiber fork. 12mm through axles front and the back, and also you have a threaded T47 bottom bracket, which is absolutely fine, a bit more easier to work on, and of course your local mechanics will love you for that. There's absolutely no complaints here when we speak about this carbon fiber frame and the fork. FELT has been in the industry for long enough, so they make definitely quality carbon fiber frames and the forks. I'll just point out here a few small details about this kind of frame and the fork. The first thing is, when you look at the kind of a seat post, the FELT is claiming here that they have developed this new kind of sleeve inside, which is kind of absorbing some of the smaller bumps, which is very nice, but this is applicable if you are running a 27.3 millimeters carbon fiber seat post in this instance, and I believe that the carbon fiber seat post in this instance is included standard with this bike. I'm not so sure from the specifications. I believe this is a carbon fiber seat post. Speaking about the saddle is some kind of I'm guessing an in-house brand from FELT, or maybe I'm making a mistake here. Let me just double check. Is the saddle from the the saddle is the Pro Logo Dimension saddle included with this bike, which is, in my opinion, a very good saddle as Pro Logo does. But if you don't like this saddle, then it's very easy to replace with your preferred saddle. When you look at the handlebar and the stem, a very classical design, nothing is proprietary here. You have a separate handlebar and the stem, aluminum pieces, again, perfectly fine, and it's very good that you can easily, adjust the position on the bike, and in the future, if you decide to replace anything, it's going to be very easy. Also, when you look at this cable routing here on the bike, you can notice that it is a bit internally cable routed, with kind of this classical design of a bit externally routed cables from the handlebar into the frame, which is perfectly fine in my opinion. Yes, you might be sacrificing, you know, a few watt of energy because this is not super aerodynamically optimized, but again, it's much easier to service, and again, your local mechanics, if they need to replace any cables, it's going to be much easier than kind of totally fully routed cables through the handlebar, through the stem, through the headset. It's just a nightmare. So this is a bit more easier solution to work with. So all in this, you know, carbon fiber frame and the fork, absolutely no complaints here. Handlebar stem, again, no complaints here. And also this seat post, which I am assuming is a carbon fiber seat post, again, no complaints here. Now let's talk about the group set that you are going to get on this bike. So this is Shimano's GRX group set, dedicated 12-speed group set for the gravel. This is a mechanical group set, which is absolutely fine, and GRX group set is super reliable from Shimano, so you will get the shifters of the Shimano GRX 600 series. Then you have the front mech and the rear mech of the Shimano GRX 800 series, so a bit, you know, upgrade. And you will also have the Shimano's 105 cassette. This is a beautiful, huge range of 1134 on this cassette. And also I have to mention here the Shimano GRX crankset. So this is a double crankset, and I believe that this is, let me just double check, this crankset is 4630 chainrings, so paired with the 1134 cassette, beautiful huge range of the gears, and this is exactly what you want with this gravel bike. Also the chain, they absolutely didn't cut corners here. This is the Shimano M7100 chain, so the Shimano SLX level chain from the Shimano's mountain bike world, but absolutely no problems here. And I will just mention here that the braking system you are getting on this bike is going to be Shimano GRX hydraulic disc brakes front and the back, 160mm braking rotors at the front, and unfortunately 140mm braking rotors at the back. I absolutely don't understand why bike manufacturers bother with these 140mm rotors at the back. They should be 160mm, and I strongly recommend you, when you destroy these rotors, buy yourself 160mm rotors, just because you want good heat dissipation, you want good stopping power, and definitely with 160mm braking rotors, this is going to be so much better than these tiny 140mm braking rotors. So this is just, you know, something to keep in mind and think about for the future. Now let's talk about the wheel set on this bike and the tires. So as I'm seeing, the wheel set you are getting here is a very classical aluminum wheel set from Divox. I'm guessing this Divox is some kind of in-house brand of felt. So this is a tubeless ready wheel set with 12mm through axles, and the tires on this wheel set are Vittoria Terreno, which is a 38mm wide tire. But the good thing with this frame is that it is designed to accept the tires all the way to 50mm, and also you can even run on this frame, you can run a mountain bike wheel, for example 29-inch wheel with 2-inch wide tires, which is absolutely excellent. So lots of, you know, room to run wider tires, which is absolutely perfect in my opinion for gravel bike riding. And this wheel set, as it is now, I'm not expecting anything special from it. This is probably around 2 kilograms aluminum wheel set with some kind of seal cartridge bearings, which is perfectly fine out of the box. And maybe in the future, if you want to upgrade your wheel set, I would always advise you to have a look at DT Swiss wheels, and then you can see what can you buy. Is it, you know, aluminum wheel set, or is it their more advanced carbon fiber wheel sets? I was trying to find some technical specifications about the total weight of this bike, but unfortunately I don't see any data from Felt. But listen, in some kind of size 56 for this bike, you can easily expect it to be, somewhere in the region of, I would say, maybe 8.5 kilograms. excluding pedals. So this is like perfectly fine in my opinion for these kind of gravel bikes, adventure bikes, because all in all what you are interested in is the, you know, the comfort for the long days in the saddle, specifically when you are going a bit off-roading. So in a summary, what is my advice to you when you consider that this FELT BREED Advanced carbon gravel bike has a retail price of $3,000? Well, I believe it's a very interesting bike and very interesting offering from FELT, and you should definitely shortlist this bike if you are in the market for some kind of a bit more race-oriented gravel bikes.